Hey guys, Bowie here. So how did a hero that almost everyone agreed got destroyed by Ice Frog is now one of the highest win rate heroes in this patch? He has higher pick rates than heroes like Luna, Meepo, and Visage, yet very few people actually talk about it. The first player I remember trying to make this hero work was no one other than Mr.Topson right here. In the laning stage, this hero did not change much, but with the changes to Wraith Bands, it's not uncommon to see heroes starting with 2, 3, and Topson goes even further and gets 4 Slippers of Agility. Since this hero doesn't have Death Pact anymore, you do need damage items at level 6 or else you're not going to do much. But at level 6 you don't really have gold for many items, so that's why Wraith Bands. Not everyone goes 4, but the standard is a minimum of 2 with a medallion, or 4 if you don't go medallion right after the Wraith Bands. And knowing that he has so much damage and agility, he trades with a Medusa that commits a pretty hard mistake. Trading like this from the low ground against the Clinks is never a good idea. While the Medusa is able to retreat later, Topson gets first blood as a Clinks. There's a bunch of things that change on the hero. The first one is the skill build. Before this patch, everyone would get 2 to 3 points in arrow and strafe and then max skeleton walk. Since most of your damage was coming from Death Pact anyways, you just wanted the mobility to be able to eat that creep and then go somewhere else to dish the damage. This is not true anymore. Now that you don't have the ult, you need more damage. Klink's talents were never great, so now players are maxing Q and W, getting only 1 point in Skeleton Walk, and getting the talents at level 14 and 15. Sometimes you see someone's keeping level 4 strafe, but that's about it. You need the DPS. In this lane, Topson focused very little in CS. Klink's always was this huge harasser, and even against Medusa he trades super well. He only has 6 CS at 2 minutes, but he already killed Medusa once, forced her to commit to selves, and to keep this up, he needs to fair himself mango, especially because the Medusa is draining his mana, and he does that constantly. Since you don't draw aggro using Searing Chains, you also have huge glyph potential unlike some other heroes, and that's another salve that he forces here against the Dire hero. One thing that people forgot about Klinks when they were circle jerking about him being terrible is Strafe. Strafe as an ability means that ranged heroes, even with MKB or Silver Edge, you name it, they will not be able to hit Klinks, which means he is forever a ranged hero counter. The only way for someone to bypass Strafe is to dispel it, and there are 2 items that do that. U-Scepter, but few cores even build the item, a Nullifier, which is super expensive, and not necessarily an item most heroes want to buy. That being said though, you cannot disjoint Mystic Snake with Strafe, so be careful and mindful. Remember what we said about ranged heroes counters? Topson unfortunately loses his salve as he disengages here, but he's still alive and kicking thanks to that ability. You can also note that he has no points in Skeleton Walk at this stage. In the old patch, usually you would see a Klinks that is 2-2-1, since he would like to use his Invis to hunt for kills after getting the ult, but that's not how you get kills with this hero anymore. First of all, since Strafe is the ranged hero counter, why is Topson maxing Searing Arrows instead of Strafe against a 5 ranged hero lineup? Well, that's because your Burning Army uses your level of Searing Arrows, which means your ult is as impactful as your level in that spell, and your Q does not work on your ult at all. That's usually why you max Searing Arrows. Don't worry, because you don't need to have the ability on cast or whatever, it will always use it. Actually, I wrote this before. I did see Topson sometimes turning the ability on when he was going for it. In demo mode, it looks like you do the same damage regardless of having the icon turned on or off, but you know, if there's a Klink spammer watching, let me know in the comments. I will pin your comments so people actually know what the hell is going on. One small move to mention about Topson is this one. He was trying to harass the Medusa, he has a ward, and note what he does here. He stands on the left side at nighttime, and at this stage, the creeps should not aggro to him since them and the tower have reduced vision, and since they don't, that's when Topson places his ward, knowing people don't know he is there. Anyways, we were talking about how Klinks get skills nowadays, and it's all about his ult angle and using the skill at the right time. Speaking of right time, the way Topson attempts this kill is crisp as hell. Look what happens here. The wave is about to push. There is this one creep that Topson knows that Medusa would like to deny, so Topson pretends to be attacking that one creep to force an attack from the Medusa, attempting to deny the creep, which in return not only gives Topson the CS he wanted, but the chance to dive her. Note how Topson only commits the ult after the charge, because it means that all the dudes will be attacking. I mean, they do give vision, but if she is inside the trees, then they won't be able to attack, but with the charge they will. Unfortunately, his angle was not perfect, but Medusa is a hard kill to begin with. Clinkz was always a hero that relied on playing around his ult. This new version is even more reliant on the ult until you get some items, and that's why Topson rotates now. Medusa is a hard kill, and his ult is about to get ready, so let's go top. Since you're now maxing strafe and searing arrows, you do get a little bit of extra damage, but very often you will be forced to ult to get kills since you don't have your old ult, and yeah. The beauty of this ult, although it looks super wonky, is getting vision as you chase. It is great for tower dives and fights where you have no wards. Treads is definitely the best boots for Clinkz right now. Not only you have a pretty shitty mana pool, so Tread Switch is awesome, your boys from Burning Army love stats, and you get 14 stats from the Treads. They only benefit from damage that comes from stats, so yes, they don't get the damage, but they also don't get the attack speed from phase boots. That's also a reason for Topson to go for Wraith Brands, and the most common items on this hero being Medallion, Dragonlance, and Diffusal Blade. Minus armor will always be great on Clinkz. Dragonlance gives you agility while increasing the attack range of your Burning Army, and Diffusal gives you kill potential without the ult and gives you the agility that it's damage to the ult as well. As you can see, this hero seems similar, but he's also very different. Even though Topson is owning here, he struggles to kill support with these items. There's obviously a build that could give him more damage at this stage of the game without the ult, but that also means you're not scaling with that spell. Items like Deso and Orchid are still okay on Clinkz, but they give your Burning Army pretty much nothing unless you get a Blowthorn later, but that's way later down the line. Look how hard it is for Dire to fight into the Burning Armor. By the way, I'm not sure if I explained this right, but the new ult does not proc any orb effects. You cannot crit, you cannot get Maelstrom procs, you do not drain people's mana with Diffusal, but you still go for the item because it enables you while being the cheapest item to give you so much agility, and while you do not drain mana, your ult will be stronger because of it. This hero still pushes relatively well, even without Death Pact, and as you can see, he deals very well with the likes of Husker and Medusa. Topson was saving the strafe for last to bait the Husker, but he also had Inner Fire, so they bait each other. And yeah, this is the Diffusal Blade review from Topson. Dire is pushing bottom, and he gets a glimpse of Husker showing mid, while they have a tower that PA can TP to, and a Spirit Breaker that can charge. The way you set up your ult is very important. Topson has two options here. One is ulting towards the lane or towards the stairs. For Radiant, it's super easy to keep chasing if they go up the stairs since they have a shrine and all. So he ults towards the lane and he gets a twofer. Clinkz used to be super good right from the start at getting pickoffs and kinda bad at teamfights. He needed BKB, he was easy to get bursted down, and he can still be bursted, but against a draft with low burst, it is easy to take great fights without any major items like BKB. One thing I want to make clear now is that Diffusal Blade first is not a very common Clinkz item. Medallion and Dragonlance are way more popular, but in this game there are a couple of different factors to consider. The first one is draining Medusa's mana, and another one is the fact that the cores on Dire have no escapes, which means the Diffusal Blade is usually better than before. You know, if you're playing against heroes like Puck or Quap, going Diffusal Blade rarely will give you any kills. But it is true for this game. Most people, when they complain about the new Clinkz, they mention how easy it is to take the Burning Army down. And that's true. While it can be taken down easily, look what happens in this fight for instance. Topson shows up, he gets a kill on the Shadow Shaman as the fight begins. Since Dire focuses the Burning Army, that buys time for him to disengage from a fight that could go wrong for them. Yeah, Husker gets 100 gold from the army, but that buys time for Radiant to regroup, and thanks to the Diffusal, Clinkz is actually useful without Burning Army, and the call for Dire to push was maybe not right. And what ensues is Dire losing two very important cores. Clinkz definitely looks weird, sometimes doesn't feel right, but this hero is actually good in pops. We are yet to see other teams really trying to make Clinkz working competitive, but don't be afraid to watch some high MMR Clinkzes and start playing him more. This is not exactly a tutorial, so expect one soon when the new patch drops, if it doesn't destroy Clinkz or something. Thank you a lot for liking, commenting, and subscribing. It really helps me a lot. I have a Twitter where I talk Dota and memes. I have a Twitch where I play and cast. And in fact, I will be casting in a couple of hours, the Major. So drop by if you're interested. I also have an Instagram and a Discord channel that you can check in the description below if you're into that. And I mean, thank you guys. There's also a Patreon that you can be a part of if you want to help me in my casting career. And yeah, thank you all for being here. Really appreciate you guys, and bye.